Hi, this is Jim Clary. I'm the Senior Geek. This video is a continuation in our series on support for Windows 7 is nearing the end. The first video in this series gave you an introduction and described the first option, which is just staying where you are, staying on using Windows 7, continue to use Windows 7. In this video, we're going to explore a couple of more options available to you, and as opposed to just staying with Windows 7. I'm not going to berate again the dangers of doing that after the support date in January of 2020, leaving yourself exposed to potential security flaws, viruses, etc., etc. So, if you're ready, let's look at the other options that you have. Upgrade to Windows 10 on your computer. That's another option. You can upgrade to Microsoft's latest operating system, Windows 10, on your existing computer. Two difficulties with that. Number one, if you're running Windows 7, you probably got an older computer, probably around 2012 or maybe even earlier than that. So it's probably time to make a change anyway, and going to Windows 10 on that particular computer may not give you a satisfying experience, even though Windows 10, the resources for Windows 10 aren't quite as great as Windows 7, but you'd have to go through the process of doing the upgrade, which is not trivial unless you've done it before. The second thing is cost. Don't believe that unless you upgraded to Windows 10 back when it was free from Windows 7 and then moved back down to Windows 7, the indications that I'm getting is it's not going to be free to upgrade to Windows 10. You're going to have to pay Microsoft a fee to allow you to do that. So that's kind of like putting money into an old car. We know at some point it reaches a point to where it's just not worth messing with. Okay, the next one you've got is you can certainly purchase a new Windows 10 computer. And this is the recommendation of Microsoft. They say, hey, time to go out and get your shiny new computer. Now, very viable option if you need to continue using Windows. In fact, if you want to continue using Windows, I think this is the most viable option that you've got. You can buy a decent Windows 10 computer for around $600, $500. You start getting any lower than that, in my opinion, the low-end machines, you're not going to get a very satisfactory experience. Minimum requirements I would have is at least 4 gigabytes of RAM, and 8 would be preferable, in fact almost mandatory. And I would recommend a Core i processor, that is an Intel i3, i5, or i7. Anything with the non-core, they call it, where it doesn't have the i3, the i5, and the i7. In my opinion, in my experience, is probably not going to give you a satisfactory experience with using Windows 10. So if you go that way, $600, you get a shiny new laptop with all the goodies on it. A good way to go. The next option you've got is switch to Chromebook. Now, you may have heard of Chromebook. I've got some videos on my website if you go to some of my playlists on The Senior Geek YouTube channel, and of course you can go everywhere else too. Basically, a Chromebook is a computer running what they call Chrome OS, which is basically a web browser. It basically runs the Chrome web browser. Now, it does some other things kind of on the side, but the real functionality is just running a web browser. What does that mean? That means that it's much, much, much simpler to use, and we'll review in a minute to determine if you could live with the Chromebook. I think since you've got to make a change, okay, going from Windows 7, if you're going to move from Windows 7, you're going to have to change either to Windows 10 or to Chrome OS, or in other words, a Chromebook. A Chromebook's much, much easier, in my opinion, and I think you'll find it much easier to learn because it's just simple. Again, it's stripped down. It just has the web browser. Now, you can go out and buy a new Chromebook is one way to get at it. Those are cheaper. You can run those with less hardware. You can get those for $300. They'll give you a decent, in my opinion, in my experience, they'll give you a decent computer to work with. So you can go about and you can do that, or you can convert your existing computer to a Chromebook. And in fact, that's one of the big things that I've got on my website, that you use a piece of software called Cloud Ready that is produced by a company called Neverware. And what it does is it takes your existing computer and converts it to this simple operating system, and then you have a web browser. Now, the nice thing about that is cost. Goose egg, zero. It's a free thing, doesn't cost you anything. Obviously, you still got your computer, and also the Cloud Ready software for personal use. Neverware has been kind enough to make that free for all individual users. Now that we've reviewed all of the options, we're ready to determine if Chromebook is for you. The next video in this series will cover that. I'll go through, it will describe a test that you can perform using your existing Windows 7 computer. Hopefully you've started this process early enough before January of 2020, when they're going to drop, Microsoft's going to end support, that will allow you to basically simulate the Chromebook environment experience, if you would, inside Windows 7. So you can proceed to the next video in this series for that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Certainly appreciate it if you like it, if you give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, The Senior Geek. And comments are always welcome. Thank you again, and hope to see you on many more The Senior Geek videos. Take care now.